the Lord requires us to have certain behavior. And so here are a few tips and steps that if you don't know and you want to know, here is Proverbs 31, and what you may hear many people refer to as the biblical woman scripture, because it just kind of sets it out there to try and help us as women understand what the Lord requires. So, jumping right into it, here are a few things from Proverbs 31. If you haven't heard this before and this is your first time here, please make sure you subscribe. I'll have more videos like this if this is something that you're interested in. But one of our requirements from the Lord, from Proverbs 31, is verse 11, the heart of her husband do it safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. You want your husband to trust in you. You want your family to trust in you. You want your children to trust in you. Because what is a family with no trust? If you can't trust the people who you sleep with at night and who you lay down with and who you share your meals with and who you say you love, if you can't trust in them, then we're all wrong, right? So we want to make sure that our partners trust in us. And the only way that they can trust in us is if we do what we have to do as women in order to provide them that trust and comfortability and that excitement to see us, because they know that what we bring is just good energy, good vibes. We must be slow to anger. That's not in Proverbs 31, but we must be slow to anger according to the Lord. And that's what we shall do. Proverbs 31 verse 12, she will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. So if you find yourself being a lady out there listening to this, and you find yourself at times when you're angry at your husband or your partner, fiance, boyfriend, whatever the case may be, and the first thing that comes in your mind is vengeance or anything evil to the sort, anything bad to the sort, to just make it simple and less complex. If you're having these thoughts, you must start to read Proverbs 31. You must start to engage with the Lord, because having the vengeance, you're definitely moving far away from what the Lord requires of you. So let's leave the vengeance alone, and you must do good for your husband and not evil all the days of your life. Again, the Lord requires this of us. She riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household and a portion to her maidens. You must rise early. Yes, indeed. I often hear folks say that they sleep till 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning. I don't live with you to necessarily judge you. But as a wife and mother, and even if you're not a mother, but as a fiance, wife, whatever the case may be, it is our duty, according to the scriptures of the Lord, that we must rise early. We must rise it early. So I rise early. I rise at 4:45 a.m. to 5 a.m. Some days I wake up at about 5:30 to 6. I wake up anytime before 6 o'clock a.m. if y'all were curious. Here's another tip from Proverbs 31 that I shall share with you all. I crochet and I knit. If you don't crochet and you knit, this is not about following a trend to see who can become a housewife and knit and crochet in a house while their husband takes care of them. It's not about that. It's about you gaining a craft, gaining an artwork that could potentially keep your family warm. Not potentially, will keep your family warm in times of cold, in times of need. You're able to make things that you can later on use and save money to not have to buy these things. It could be for a numerous amount of things, but referring to Proverbs 31, it says this. She layeth her hands to spindle, and her hands hold the staff. That is Proverbs 31, verse 19. Again, she layeth her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold it, the distaff. She maketh fine linen and selleth it, and delivereth girdles unto the merchant. That's Proverbs 31, verse 24. So learn how to do something with your hands if you don't know how to. Capitalize on that. There's a beautiful thing about us as women. We have so many inner talents, so many outer talents, so many talents. And when you really put it into perspective, a lot of our husbands will be a little bit lost for a day or two if we weren't there to make sure everything was in order. They know they will. They'll admit it. They'll be a little bit lost, but we also will be lost too without their guidance. And a lot of women are being taught now these days to not use the guidance of their husband. And I don't know why. That is what I call, in my personal opinion, a bad trend. The single is the mingle life, the single life is the better life. All of these negative things to push other women who are listening to believe in this nonsense, because in my personal opinion, it is nonsense to push a woman to the advice of saying it is better to be single and just forget about him, and that guy is nobody and that man is nothing. And they're teaching other women to continue to belittle men. And it's wrong, just point blank wrong. I'm not going to sit here and try to find 10 million reasons to say it's wrong. You know that it's wrong. You might not want to hear it if you're somebody watching this video. You might not want to hear that it's wrong, but the truth sometimes hurts and it's wrong. And I told myself that some years ago when I started to make my changes and realized that my whole, feminist attitude, and I'm like, I could do this by myself. I don't need no man for this. I don't need no man for... It's like, no, ladies, no, you gain nothing that way. You gain absolutely nothing that way. Remember, you never can pick money over God. It tells us in the scriptures, do not pick money over God. And when you pick money over God, everything around you does not go the way you plan. I don't even have to live in your home to tell you that. You can have all the money in the world and you have a million problems with your fiance. You can have the best career in the world and you still don't like to be there because you don't like your boss. And it's funny because I heard this one lady say that, and it's so very true, how we can sit there and we can listen to a boss at an employment, another man, but you find it hard to obey and listen to your husband. But you can listen to a whole nother man that gives you no options, no way out. You don't even know this person, but this is the person you submit to at work. This is the person who tells you be there on time, do this or do that. And then you get home and you have a problem with submitting to your husband and then make a video and make it seem like your husband is the worst person in the world and your job is the best thing you've ever had. But then as you work, you lose so much valuable time with your children and your husband. And if you don't have children, you lose valuable time with your husband. So it's no point of even being married. You might as well live that single life because you're setting yourself up for failure. Whether or not your marriage ends now or it ends 10 years from now, you're setting yourself up for failure. And again, this might feel very intense to some women that they might say, what are you talking about? Like, I'm independent. It's okay with being independent. There's nothing wrong with being independent. But that independent attitude, unfortunately, needs to be pushed out of the way when you make a conscious decision to get married to a man. To a man. You're not a man. And again, I will mention in this video, like I mentioned in the other one, I'm not talking about transgender and all of that stuff. I respect everybody. If you're a transgender and you're a man now, you're a man. Be a man, act like a man, whatever. Everybody might not agree with that, but be the man that you want to be. But in my personal opinion, if you're a female, tap into your femininity. Tap into it and quickly. Tap into it quickly. Because it's a beautiful thing. It's not scary. You just have to get the gist of it. You have to learn what's comfortable with you and your husband or your partner. You have to see what he's okay with. You have to open up to him and say, hey, listen, I don't want to be the man. I don't want to wear the pants. I'm okay with wearing my skirt, quote unquote. I'm okay with wearing a skirt. I'm okay with doing my role. But I want you to do your role too as well. I want you to respect me, take care of me, protect me. And I also want to do my role to make sure that I protect you and be everything that the Lord tells me that I have to be for you. Like verse 28 in Proverbs 31. Her children arise up and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praiseth her. It happens. Our husbands praise us when they see that we're doing what we need to do. And you will say, some feminists will say, well, why? I don't need no man to praise me. You feel good when that man praises you. When he tells you, wow, honey, this is such a good job. And you're like, yeah. Or if your kids arise and they're like, mommy, you're so special. You do all of this for us. That's beautiful. That is a beautiful thing. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't get discouraged from that. Pull more towards it. The whole hashtag trad wife thing, I think it's a beautiful thing. And I will continue to defend it. I think it's a beautiful thing. I think more women need to be more traditional. That's my opinion. You could click out of the video now or prior, but I'm going to feel that forever because the Lord tells us to do so. Point blank. The Lord tells us to do so. It's not me. It's what the Lord requires of me. Do I want to walk in the gates of heaven? Of course I do. Do I want my chances to be higher? Yeah, of course. Am I perfect? No, I'm not. Am I going to be perfect? Not at all. Not even close to it. I just know one thing for sure, that the scriptures tell us one thing. And if you are a believer who truly believes, then you would know that respecting your husband and honoring your husband is only honoring more yourself. That's the beauty in it. Honoring your husband is honoring yourself. It's not only bringing you closer to the Lord, it's gaining your respect throughout your whole entire life. Because everywhere you go, everyone will see you. And everybody will feel that vibration, that grace that you have. Your kids will feel that grace. Your husband will feel that grace. And he in exchange will give you grace. It is hard. The grace doesn't come automatically. The grace comes over time as you progress and you get closer to what the Lord requires you to do. Then you realize that everything around you in your life starts to fall right into place. So please, ladies, I know this is the worst setting of a video, but the point is the message. Get into your scriptures, read Proverbs 31 in its entirety. And if you don't want to read it right now, that's okay. But remember one thing, respecting and honoring your husband is only honoring yourself. Not only just God, you're honoring yourself. So not only are you honoring God first, then you honor yourself, and then everything around you falls into place. So you'd be surprised what respect and honesty can do for each and every one of us. You'd be surprised what good energy and slow to anger can do for all of us with our partners. But we must apply it. It must be applied. It can't just be talked about. It has to be applied. Because we are women and we have a duty according to the Lord. And if you don't tap into that duty, then you're not doing your work. Going to work for somebody for 40 hours a week is not doing your work to the Lord. And it's not doing your work to your husband or your family. And it's doing a complete injustice for you, because at the end of the day, you come home so tired and miserable and so restless, and all for the money. All for the money. And then some people say, well, how do you expect us to live without money? I don't expect you to live without money per se. Actually, let me be even more technical. You can live without money. Every day that you wake up and you're able to breathe, that the good Lord allowed us to breathe, that's you waking up with no money. You didn't need any money to breathe. You didn't need any money to breathe. Society makes you need money. So I get it. Why everybody's working their 9 to 5 and their 40 hours a week. I get it. But sometimes in life, we have to make hard decisions and we have to make hard sacrifices. And if you have children and you have a husband and you know deep down inside you that you are neglecting your husband and your children, you need to make a change. And so even if that change is working 30 hours a week instead of 40, it's a progressive change to the point where you get to, I'm going to do my own business and I'm going to stay home and really be the biblical wife and the biblical mother that I need to be without any excuses. And again, I know it's hard. I know sometimes you got to grab a part-time or you got to hustle here, hustle there. I get it. But what's more important is what I ask you. What is more important? Is the money more important, or is God more important? Leave a comment below if you have an answer. But you'll have a beautiful and blessed day, and may God bless each and every one of you guys. And please do not take this video offensively. I appreciate any comment that you all leave, but please do not take it offensively. This is just to help the women who need that extra guidance and that extra push to why they should follow what the Lord requires, which starts off in Proverbs 31. You all have a beautiful and blessed day. Bye-bye now.